Welcome friends, one and all, to the great Super Metroid shopping spree. First up on the agenda is an area I've heard called the Criterion Gauntlet. This is an extremely well-hidden secret area of Crateria that hides an energy tank and 2 missile packs. You can get into the gauntlet as soon as you pick up the bombs if you want to bomb jump up and then face the terrors within with only 99 energy, but I don't recommend it. By far the easiest way through the gauntlet is to avoid the bulk of it by pre-opening the blue door leading in and then firing yourself through with a shine spark. You'll lose about the same amount of energy that way, but it's a lot quicker and therefore easier on the blood pressure. Unfortunately, there's no easy way through the second half of the gauntlet. You just have to bomb your way through and hope you have enough energy to survive the rising lava. Not that it makes sense for there to be rising lava at this elevation, of course. At the end of the gauntlet are 2 missile packs, tucked away on either side of a crumbling floor. For years I thought in order to get both packs you'd have to go through the gauntlet twice, but if you fall directly down the center and use the wave beam to clear away the walls on either side, you can get both packs in one trip. Of course, the energy tank is the main attraction here. If I mess up and miss one or both of these missiles, I just continue on because, hey, no big loss. If you're doing a 100% run, Craterian and Brinstarian are the only areas you have to backtrack to. The wrecked ship and Upper Norfair are designed to be cleared out in one pass, and most of the good stuff in Maridian is blocked off with a grey door linked to the boss rather than environmental obstacles. Craterian and Brinstarian, though, are riddled with crannies and bolt holes you need this or that power-up to get through. You'll see me get stuff in this pass that can't be obtained without the power bomb, speed booster, gravity suit, and wave beam. I mentioned in an earlier video that Super Metroid is usually pretty good about not letting the player get into areas they aren't skilled enough to get out of. That's usually with a capital huge, because there is one glaring exception to that rule, the notorious Editkun Shaft. The Editkun Shaft starts off innocently enough, just a hidden area requiring power bombs to open, followed by an energy tank sitting on the other side of a trapdoor, which will be familiar to anyone who already fell for that goddamn trick in the original Metroid. The trapdoor is one way, fall through and you're stuck in the Brinstarian basement with a whole slew of spikes and flea monsters. There's also a save room down there, which is probably the nastiest trick in Metroid history, because if you use it, the game has snared you. You can't go back the way you came, no. You now have to cross the spiked hallway and into a shaft with 3 little monkey creatures called Etta Coons, and the only way out is to wall jump. Now that's not strictly true, of course. You can also bomb jump out, or space jump. The catch is that a player at this point in the game isn't likely to have the space jump, and a player who isn't skilled at wall jumping sure as hell won't be able to bomb jump. The point of the Editkun Shaft is pretty clear. It's here to teach the player how to wall jump. Studying the little guys long enough, and if you're saved down here in the hole with no other way out, that's pretty much all you're going to be doing. It's a good way to learn the trick. Furthermore, it only takes 1 wall jump to escape back to the main area of Brinstarian. That doesn't mean it's not a nasty trap, though. I bet the Editkun Shaft alienated just as many players as it taught the wall jump to. There's a similar trap hole just up ahead, the one that I'm about to jump over, that drops you into a pit with a bird-like creature called a Coons. His job is to show you how to shine spark, but his trap isn't nearly as nasty since there's no save point down there. At the end of the game, Samus has the option of taking a detour from her daring escape to free the Etta Coons and Coons, but I kind of don't do it. I don't know, the speedrunner within me just can't justify the extra 30 seconds. I'm a monster, basically. There's no need for pretenses here. The number one reason I'm taking this sojourn through Brinstarian and picking up all these wayward energy tanks is so I don't have to have a strategy a couple videos from now when it's time to throw down with Ridley. The best way to win that fight is quite simply to have hundreds and hundreds of energy to spare when you step into the door. There's only 1 energy tank between the gravity suit and Ridley if you don't step off the optimal path, and no speedrunner worth his salt would waste all that time getting the reserve tank in Norfair. So a typical speedrun, you're taking on the baddest boss in the game with 599 energy. Definitely possible, but nerve-wracking in a way that I don't really want to deal with in this humble Let's Play. Super Metroid is pretty good about helpfully guiding you to where you need to go next. We only explored the western half of the wrecked ship. The eastern half is only accessible through a partially submerged room with a tall jump that you can't clear without the gravity suit. A normal player would get the gravity suit, then return to that room and explore the eastern half of the wrecked ship. They'd find an energy tank and then they'd head out through the back door into the far end of Craterian. From there they'd find an elevator leading down to the upper dry section of Maridian. and then in exploring that area they would eventually find themselves dumped off at that glass tube that we've passed through a couple times on our way back and forth from Norfair. They'll be able to activate the Maridian map terminal, but no matter how they try, there simply isn't a path into the main bulk of the region. The path from the Maridian elevator is one way, and one way or another it's always going to lead you back around to the glass tube. This is where some experimentation and maybe a little lateral thinking are going to come into play. The tube, not the elevator, is the real entrance to Maridia. You have to blow it apart with power bombs in order to make any meaningful headway into the region. I've heard some people complain about this as though it's an unfair expectation, but I forgive it. Mainly because it looks frickin' sweet. Ah, that's good stuff. And besides, I think it's hinted at well enough in-game. I'll point out where when I take on Maridian in the next video. Don't miss it.